Hello friends, and welcome to my channel for an unboxing, assembly, and review of the Haslab ECTOMOBILE. I got the Ecto-1 version as I have more affinity for the first movie, and I've got the Mezco set that this is going to be pairing with, and we'll take a look at that later. But here's a look at the packaging. It's got this kind of slit sleeve that goes over the center. There's like a concrete road painted like outer box, but then on the front it's got the drawers for the tool set and like a lock that's in the concrete. So I just think that's kind of a weird choice to be like, yeah, the toolbox is like made of concrete, I guess, like, but here it looks like it's riveted metal, and I don't know. I don't really know what was going on with the decal on the box, but I'm not really a box guy anyway, so it's not that big a deal to me. But you know, this could display nicely if you have room for it and want to have it out, or if you need a base to set the car on top of. Let's take a look at what comes on the inside. So this flap opens, you slide out the whole thing. Inside you've got the legalese type of stuff, the fine print, this terrible instruction booklet thing. I mean, everything's so tiny and there's not really a lot of direction on it. Like, it was very hard to figure out where the stickers go. So I do all that here in the video in hopes of helping. They do give you a lot of extras of the stickers and decals, which is great, and I ended up using them. So first tray, we've got Slimer here amongst other parts for the vehicle. Slimer is caked up, as you can tell. I've got the Mezco Slimer. He's more translucent. I actually like this one better, so this is the one I'm going to be displaying. This one has like the mirrors, tail lights, windshield wipers. This box contains a lot more of the other trays, so you can see various parts. You've got some of the proton pack stuff that comes with the Rick Moranis figure. There's more accessories for the vehicle and the Ghost Lady. The Ghost Lady is a really, really cool figure. This is a cool bonus. She's like the librarian. This big tray comes out and you've got the antenna in this, and I missed these. I like put this to the side. I was like, wait a second. So make sure you're paying attention for that. And then we get the vehicle itself out, and it's a big one. It's quite sizable, not too heavy. Like, the heft feels like it's the right weight for the size of this thing, but here's a look at it before I put on all the accessories and the stickers and stuff. So getting into some measurements real quick, it is 22.5 inches long from bumper to bumper, and then is about 8.5 inches wide at its widest points. So there's a lot of articulation, a lot of stuff on this thing. The front driver side opens. The back door on the driver's side does not open. I checked to see if the wheels turn. They do not. I did have some play in mind, but I realized later that's because you can swap these out for the sequel version. On the passenger side, both doors open. This back door is kind of tricky. You have to kind of like slide it forward to close it, and we'll see that in a second here. The rear door also opens. And this is just a really cool approximation of this 1959 Cadillac ambulance. So very, very cool to see in person. They got the windows right too, which is great. Like, they're tinted, but they have a strip in the middle that is not. Here you can see, yeah, that back door, you have to really, I messed with it for a bit. You got to slide it forward and then it'll pop shut. The hood also opens. It's a little tricky. You can see right toward the front where I'm pointing, there are these little tabs, and that's what holds it in place underneath the kind of lip on the inside there. But there's a fully sculpted motor in there, which looks great. You can see the wheel wells in there. On the bottom, there's some detail, but it's pretty flat. And I believe you can swap out the entire like wheel base if you get the combo version or the switchable one. There's a close-up on some of the windows and interior, and the interior on this thing is very impressive. I was really, really stoked about this. Like, the detail in the gauge clusters and stuff, you can see, I mean, that's that old GM speedometer right there. I used to have an old GM car, and it had a very similar speedometer to that. The trim pieces, you know, the door handles, then you've got the gadgetry stuff in there. I don't know what any of this is called. So if you know it, feel free to put it in the comments if anyone's curious. But yeah, I mean, this thing just looks really great. Like, look at the stereo in there. You got the dash with the kind of ribbing, the Cadillac emblem, the glove compartment has a little, you know, keyhole lock on there. I wish it was all chromed out. I mean, in something like this from Hasbro, you're going to get that kind of silver swirly plastic, which is what it is. Maybe one day I'll do some chrome detail on this, but for now, I think that would just be a huge undertaking. So close up here on some of the roof rack stuff. I haven't put all of the accessories on yet, but I just wanted to show the little gauges on the Freon tanks here. Some really nice sculpted detail in this stuff. And you can see the little ports where like the windshield wipers go and the rear view mirrors go and the antenna and stuff. Got that classic 59 Eldorado front end. Now there's this like square piece to the right of the license plate. I don't know what this is for. It's not listed in the instructions that I saw anywhere. You don't see it here, but this thing actually comes out and there's nothing behind it that I could tell, and it just plugs back in. And I don't know why it's there. So if you know, please put it down in the comments, because I'm very curious as to why that's like that. I thought it was the button at first, but anyway, here getting into the accessories, taking a look at the gurney first. This thing is really well done. It functions like an actual gurney. You can see here, like if you were to wheel it into the back of the vehicle, like an actual gurney on an ambulance, like it would do it. Wheels all move freely. Taking a look at this thick Slimer again. This one has better articulation than the Mezco one as well. The Mezco one just has like kind of shoulder, like swivel up and down. This actually has an elbow joint and a wrist joint with like hinge and swivel for both. And the paint apps are nice. I really love the brightness of the color. The translucent one from Mezco is very cool, but this one's just got a better shelf presence. This plug stand that goes into it is really nice too. It kind of looks like smoke or like sort of cascading like ghost aura. The Librarian has one as well, and that just pops up in there. I had to kind of push it down on the countertop here to get it to pop in, but she's got some waist articulation, and it's like kind of a ball joint setup. And then you can see like the lace work on her costuming is really, really nice. Like very well detailed. There's some dry brushing on it to kind of bring out the texture, but yeah, it's really well done. Like nice sculpt, good paint apps. She's got this cool little book for her to hold. The details on that are nice as well. I don't remember her too much from the movie. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I assume they nailed it. And then here's Rick Moranis' character. We don't really get into that on here. It looks great. It's a Ghostbusters figure from Hasbro. He comes with the requisite tools. I don't have room to display him, so he's going back in the box for now. Here's where the batteries go in. So there's a little screw-on compartment, and you just, one tiny Phillips head, and you get the batteries in there. The cool thing is there is also a USB port on this. So you actually have the option to just plug this into a micro USB, which I think is a really cool feature. It does say that it stays lit all the time when it's in USB mode, so that is something to consider. That's why I'm using batteries, is I don't want to run it all the time, but that is where you would put it, and then there's a switch to toggle back and forth. Here's a little montage of putting the accessories on. So you've got the antennas, and everything is like keyed to fit in certain spots, which is nice. These tubes, they're supposed to plug in flush. I couldn't get them to do that, but they're sitting there fine anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, all the little parts, like it's pretty evident where they all go, which is nice. You have to add the tail lights. There's this little white plug that goes in the side here. I assume there's a different part if you're setting up the sequel version that needs that hole, but otherwise you put the little plug in there for the Ecto-1. These antenna, they're supposed to kind of bend, so I do end up like bending them to be a little bit more screen accurate, but you don't see that here. And then yeah, just like the other parts are fairly apparent from the instructions where they go, and everything just kind of plugs into its slot, which is nice. I did end up having to take these parts off to add some of the decals. So you may do those first. This little phone goes into this tiny little port and then it hangs on a hook, and it's very difficult to get in there. I couldn't really record it, but I tried to show just for, if it's helpful at all. And then the CB radio just plugs into a little thing that's keyed up in the ceiling there. And then you've got this tray of some leftover parts. I don't know what this white thing is for. So if you know what this is supposed to be, let me know. I think it's maybe a tool to apply something or put something somewhere, but again, not in the instructions. I don't know why they didn't put more elaborate instructions in with this packaging, but whatever. Here I'm adding the decals. Now, the stickers that go on the car itself, they have a nice clear edge to them, and they blend in really well once you actually like place them down and apply them. I would recommend using some of these kinds of more precision tweezers. I'll put an affiliate link to some in the description below. I use these all the time for my customs and all kinds of stuff. They're super helpful. And it's nice that they do give you tons of extra decals. I ended up redoing this one because I didn't like it, and you know, I think there were like 4 extra ones, something like that. So that was really nice. And you can see here I'm kind of peeling it up, and they come up really easily once you actually get the corners up. So looking at the instructions, it's like okay, it tells you like to put them on the hood, like these little louvers, for example, but it doesn't say where they go, and they're sort of like barely pictured on the packaging. And then, you know, like on this, I don't think I could even see them as there with the naked eye. On video, I can kind of make them out. But as far as, trying to figure out where to place those, I had to look it up and look at some reference of the actual like screen used car. Now these little stickers, so you have the decals that go on the body of the car, then you have the stickers that go on these gadgets and stuff. These do not stay on the curved surfaces very well, so those kept kind of peeling up. They're okay on this one, but I just wanted to include this footage to show you where I put them. I did a combination of referencing the Blitzway 1/6 scale version of this from the tested video from Adam Savage, from a video of these like Hollywood car restorers restoring the actual screen used hero car for the launch of the Ghostbusters Xbox 360 video game. And then, a bit of cross-referencing with the instructions. But the instructions are so tiny and they're so vague. So I figured having this in the video would be helpful to anybody who just like wasn't trying to mess with that or has bad eyesight or something. Now for the hood louvers, I think this is pretty accurate placement. I'll show you the reference that I used, but the proportions on this might be a little different from the Blitzway one. But I also pointed them facing toward the front of the car. In other words, the way that the air would come in through those little openings on the vent would be as the car is moving forward, because the idea behind something like this is to bring in cool air to keep the engine compartment cooler. So I was going by that logic. Now there is also one of these on the back door of the car, which is not listed in the instructions anywhere. And here's a reference image of where it goes. So made sure to try to get this as accurate as possible, because it does affect where you put the Ghost logo as well. All right, let's look at some size comparisons for fun. Here it is with my custom 1989 McFarlane Batmobile. The first screen accurate one of these to be customized on the internet. There's a full series of that on my channel if you want to go scroll back in. But yeah, these are pretty much identical in length. Like from the tip of the wings to the nose of the car is about the exact same length as the Ecto-1, maybe a little bit shorter. But yeah, these are two of the most iconic vehicles from anything ever. So it's very, very cool to have them next to each other. Here it is with the Jazz Inc. BVS Batmobile. Not a lot of people have this one, but it's a fun one to just look at the two of them next to each other. Big part of my collection is iconic vehicles in 1/12 scale. So just cool to see these two next to each other. Here it is with the Mattel DC Multiverse 66 Batmobile. This is not either of the McFarlane releases. I don't like those, but very cool to see like two pieces of mid-century design like that. Here's with the Mattel Creations RC 2022 Batmobile from The Batman that I have customized and weathered, video on my channel. Here it is with the DC Direct version of the Batman animated series Batmobile, and this thing is such a beast. It's so long. Here it is just in length comparison from the tip of the wings there. And then here is one with the noses lined up, just so you can see how much further back this thing goes. So yeah, this is easily the biggest vehicle in my collection. And then here it is with my custom Mystery Machine. Now the base of this is a Cowabunga Karl van from the 2007 TMNT animated movie. But a lot of people have that van, so just to give you an idea. And then finally, here it is with the Regal Cinemas Fantastic Four Fantastic Car popcorn bucket, which scales perfectly with 1/12 Marvel Legends figures. And this is, not a real car, obviously, but inspired by this era of like late 50s, early 60s vehicles. There's definitely some Ford Thunderbird in there. Yeah, and just very cool to see like these very stylish mid-century inspired vehicles next to each other. And then finally, here it is in my custom Ghostbusters Firehouse diorama with my Mezco 1/12 figures. And these things pair with this car so perfectly. So I'm incredibly stoked to have this on the shelf. You know, this thing could probably use a little bit of weathering. It's a bit pristine right now, but man, oh man, I'm just so stoked to have these together. I've wanted an Ecto-1 for so long, especially to go with these figures, because I really love this Mezco set. Here it is with the lights all going, and I'll show you some of the different light features in a moment here, but this is just with everything kind of full on, and yeah, it looks super cool. Well, here it is with the lights turned down so you can see them better. And the lights are pretty bright too. I mean, they lit everything up with the lights in the room on. There's still some ambient lighting going on here, and they're still pretty bright. And this is, of course, is on camera. I mean, to the naked eye, like it looks really, really good. Now, there are a bunch of different light cycles. I think there's something like 5 or 6. You know, it changes every time you press the button. So it starts with just the headlights, then it adds flashing lights, then the tail lights. Here's the one with just the dash lit up, which is a really excellent feature. You don't usually see this in vehicles of this scale. Here it is with all the interior lights on, as well as the reverse lights and the head and tail lights. And yeah, I mean, it just looks like you're the inside of a car. Like, it's great. They really did a nice job with those dome lights in there. I'm not going to play the siren for you because it is nails on a chalkboard, especially through the speakers of the computer or TV, whatever you're watching. But rest assured, it sounds accurate, and you can turn all of the sounds on at the same time and all the lights on at the same time, or you can do them individually, which is very cool. And it lasts for like a good 30 or 40 seconds before it shuts off on its own. So I really like that feature. I think that's a very cool touch. So final thoughts. I mean, aside from the stupid instructions on this thing's a home run. I think it's really excellent. I feel like it was worth the money. I feel like it was worth the wait. I've long wanted this on my shelves. I think it scales perfectly with these Mezco figures. And here's a look at a couple of photos of the actors next to it, and then like the theme park actors next to it, just so you can see how they really do kind of match up. So yeah, in the end of the day, super thrilled to get this. I'm going to be probably adding a little bit of weathering, you know, a little bit of mud around the tires and stuff, just a little bit of like dirt spray, you know, from the wet NYC streets. So I hope this was helpful. If you got it, if you were curious about it and didn't get it, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Please stay tuned for a quick closing bumper with more info on my channel, as well as the comic books that I have available as a professional comic book writer and artist. That's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you all watching. Until next time, keep your head on swivel. So that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I invite you to click the like button and hit subscribe and join me as I make cool stuff. Custom figures, dioramas, vehicles to go with the figures. I review new stuff that I get on the channel. If you're looking for other ways to support this, I've got t-shirts available. My Head on Swivel shirt, as well as several other action figure and comic book themed shirts, are available in my Redbubble shop. If you've never used Redbubble, it's pretty great. You pick the color shirt, the style, and the design you want, and they ship it right to you. Now, if you're not a t-shirt person, but you like comics, I've got several comics and graphic novels available, namely my books High Crimes, Count, and Retroactive. High Crimes is kind of Breaking Bad meets Cliffhanger. Retroactive is like James Bond meets Groundhog Day, and Count is my sci-fi reimagining of the Count of Monte Cristo. Think kind of a, John Wick meets Batman meets Zorro. It's a cool story with swashbuckling action and sword fights and vehicle chases, and it's about redemption, revenge, and revolution. So those are all available at your local comic shop, bookstore, or at the links in the description below. So to everyone who's picked up a shirt already or one of my books, thank you so much. Like, that means the absolute world to me, and I really, really appreciate it. It really helps make it so that I can do this kind of stuff and bring you more videos. Couldn't ask for anything more, so thank you. So that's gonna do it for this one. Until next time, keep your head on swivel.